Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu. This is Ariba from Iman Power. Today I will be talking about teaching children to be grateful. And before I start, please do say salams in the comments box to me, to all the sisters. Inshallah, will be joining us in this video now or later on and earn 10 easy good deeds from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala just for saying salam. Easy good deeds. So do say salams in the comments below. And once again, assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu to all of you. So I wanted to talk about how to raise a grateful child today. In fact, before I forget, I'm also doing a webinar on it today and tomorrow. So register for that. So I will talk a little bit about it today, but in the webinar, inshallah, we'll go much more in deeper in that. The link for the webinar is on this post, and I'll put it in the comments as well. It's a free webinar, so inshallah there'll be, we'll go much deeper in these concepts in that webinar, inshallah. But briefly, the way often you probably tell your children that this is something you probably already do, is that you tell them that you should be grateful for the food you have or the clothes that you have. And Ramadan is coming, often people give, remember that often and give from what they have, isn't it? So we say, oh, we have, alhamdulillah, we have a lot of clothes, let's give it to some people, or the poor people. So gratitude and generosity are linked together. Your generosity basically is a result of that gratitude, right? It is a result of that gratitude that we give from it often. So we are not just giving because it makes us feel good, but we are giving because we are grateful to our Rabb. We are grateful for what he has given us. We often, even between siblings, you might say to them that, share. Alhamdulillah, Allah has given us so much. Let's share from it with your brother or your sister, and Allah will give you even more. And that's a promise of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, that if you are grateful, Allah will give you more. In fact, one of the things that I've been thinking about that I find incredibly amazing is that ingratitude in itself is the punishment, isn't it? The person who is ungrateful is unhappy with what they have, right? They are extremely unhappy. The more ungrateful they are, the more unhappy they are. So even though they might have something, it feels smaller to them because they are ungrateful. It already is decreased for them because of their ingratitude. But the person who's grateful, in a way, it's already increased for them because it seems more. It makes them more happy. It seems more to them. Anyways, there's so many advantages of gratitude. Inshallah, I'll go for more in that in the webinar, so do register for that. But one of the things I feel that we make a big blunder with children, massive blunder that we are making often, is that we have taught them to thank Allah for, or we teach them to thank Allah for the things that they have, the material things that they have, like food, clothes, money, house, parents, friends, schooling, education, all these material things. But we don't focus on teaching them or reminding them to thank Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for what is far more important within themselves. Their iman, their Islam, their qualities. We teach them even, to thank for their eyesight and their hearing. But what is even more important is their ability to do good in this world. Their creativity through which they can create incredible things. Their intelligence, their talents, whatever your children's talents, their strengths, their abilities are. How much do you focus on teaching your children to thank Allah for that? And look at it. What is more lasting? Are those things, the food, the clothing, and that, is that really more important? Is that even more lasting? Are you sure it's going to be with them? No. So when they lose that, maybe they don't have as much of money or clothes or gadgets anymore, then they're like, okay, so now Allah's not giving me. Now maybe Allah doesn't love me. And forgetting what they have been given, which is far more valuable than all of these things, far more valuable than all of these things, which they have been given inside of them. Their abilities. Allah said, human beings are the best of my creation. The best of my creation. Are we thanking Allah for this creation, or just these other things that we have made? Often temporary things. And if we are only teaching things, children to thank Allah for these things and just give from them, then we are telling them that these are valuable. Look, Allah gave you this. These are valuable things. Thank Allah for that. But what about yourself? We don't even talk about that very much. We don't even thank Allah. And even if we talk about it, how smart you are, intelligent you are we attributing that back to Allah? Because I've met children who are like, mashallah, beautiful children, and they want to do good and so on, and they're going to Islamic schools, but they haven't made that connection. Then the reason I am able to study so well, the reason I'm so intelligent or so creative, is because of Allah. So because they have been praised, you are so smart, Sarah, or you are so intelligent, or you are so good at sports, and so on. So like, yeah, I'm great at it, but they haven't made the connection, because we haven't made it for them, that you are good because Allah made you good at that sport, or that art, or that craft, or that exam, whatever, right? That's science. So teach them. When we teach them to thank Allah, our focus should not be just these things. In fact, these should not be the focus. The focus should be what they have inside them, because that will stay. That is what they're going to take to Jannah with them, inshallah. That is what they will take to the hereafter. The rest is temporary. It's not as valuable. Now coming back to what we said in the beginning. How do we teach children to be grateful for these things? By giving, by teaching them to give from it. Give your clothes, or give your money, or give from your food. Similarly, if you want to teach them to be grateful for who they are, so they value themselves, they don't just, abuse themselves, their time, their abilities, but they value that. If we want them to be grateful for that, we have to teach them to give from that, to give from those abilities. Just like we teach them to give from their clothes, their food, to give, be generous with themselves in doing good for the sake of Allah. Look, Allah has given you this intelligence. Let's use it for the sake of Allah. Giving the talents, their creativity. Look, Allah has made you so great at, this, whatever talent. You are creative, you are great at art, you are great in writing, you are great in giving speeches, you are great at that sport. How can you use that talent to serve Allah? Give it back. Help others using your intelligence. What idea can you come up with? What can you do with your words? Maybe if you're good with writing or speeches or whatever, how can you use that to help other people? Just like you use your money and give from that, but money is not as valuable as you are. The world needs money. The poor people need your money. They need your, maybe need your clothes or food, but what they need far more than all of those things, and this is a fact, what people who are poor, who are in need, what they need more than just our money is our efforts for them. Because money, we can keep giving money, keep giving money, and it doesn't always solve the problem. It's like a band-aid on the problem, right? It's not ending the wars or ending homelessness. or ending, the humiliation orphan children have to suffer. But when we use our intelligence, our creativity, and design solutions, come up with solutions, and put that kind of effort, that's when we solve the problem. That's what those people need more, not just band-aids of giving temporary charity. That is also important. I'm not saying that stop giving charity. That also has a place. That's also extremely important. But more important is us using our, the talents Allah has given us to serve them. So that is one of the most important ways, I would say, or one of the most important things to teach children right now as they're growing up, is to be grateful for who they are. And inshallah, we'll talk a lot more about all this. And Rising Heroes, which is a program I'm doing for children, in the webinar. So the link, and it's free, but we have limited spaces. And I said I'm doing it today, tomorrow, and a couple of more days. So the link should be in the post above. I think if you just look up the video or somewhere. It should be there. And inshallah, I'll talk about Rising Heroes program for children, which will give them that opportunity. Our children often don't get the opportunity, actually. One of the biggest problems is that they want to, or they might even, they might have some desire to do more than just score well in an exam or some test. They might want to use their efforts. They might even not know what qualities I have. So inshallah, Rising Heroes program will give them that opportunity to use themselves in the service of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, to give from themselves, so they become more grateful individuals and working together with other children. So it gives them that positive environment, that they are not, just influenced by the negative peers, but having some positive influence from their peers. Anyways, we'll talk more about it later on, inshallah. For now, what you need to do is go to the link and find the time that's suitable for you, inshallah, and register, and I will see you in the webinar. Assalamu alaikum. Do say salams before you go. Okay, assalamu alaikum, Sister Afshan, Maria, and Safi. I'm glad I got you live. Assalamu alaikum.